Greetings. Today is one of those interesting days where I just sit here and go, I don't know what to say. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I going to... And I've been psyching myself up and praying and asking for assistance. And then I finally just said, just push the button. So I pushed the button, and here I am. Greetings, everybody. Thank you so much for your presence. I appreciate you. Sometimes life gets to be overwhelming. Sometimes there's so much unknown coming at you constantly. And not just unknown, but sometimes there's things that are coming at you that are they're just painful and just you just don't know how you're going to get through the next moment. Like your brain feels like it's going to explode. Taking a long and slow, deep breath, the slower the better. Can be like a pushing a reset button. It can be very, very helpful. Sometimes even holding your breath can be very helpful. When I was young, I didn't know what anxiety was, and I didn't know when I was young, I don't think it was talked about as much or recognized in the public eye as much as people who had anxiety. But dang, I was a very anxious young being, and like terrified. I was terrified, and it's sad now to think about me when I was little and how I really didn't have anybody to turn to, except my big sister. She did her best to comfort me. And even if you're an adult and having these kinds of feelings that are overwhelming and you feel like you're unable to even go on another step, like sometimes it's just easier to go back to bed or turn on the TV, or I totally understand and I get it. The reason I decided to start this channel was, for one thing, my intuition kept telling me to do it. And another thing is I thought that maybe, I could assist in some way. My intention is to help raise the frequency on the planet and to teach a very simple meditation technique that, when done daily and without taking any breaks, really, really, really does raise your frequency and your vibration. When you meditate every day and become quiet and still, you will access your inner being, which is connected to the great field of consciousness that connects us all. It's always there. You live there. You dwell there. And sometimes we get pulled away from that place that is our center. And I'm really coming to the conclusion and the sense that, you know, when people talk about your chakras and what's the word? Leaving the first couple chakras behind and getting into the upper chakras, like that's the goal. I kind of don't agree with that. I agree. I believe I'm coming to the conclusion that we need to integrate all the chakras. And I know this is so basic and so many people have already come to this conclusion, but I guess I just want to say that we need to have our lower chakras engaged and connected with the upper chakras in order to be whole and to be connected with that field of consciousness, of pure consciousness, of all that is, of Source, of God, the universe, whatever term you want to use. So I'm not an expert on the chakra system. I've read about it countless times and have been learning more about it through meditation, because I'm experiencing like the feeling of being in one or the other, like the third eye chakra. When I'm meditating and my eyes are closed, I can actually see a light from that chakra, from it's down the center of your skull, back from this area basically between the eyebrows. It's like there's a little gem, which is the pineal gland, that just sits in there. And I just learned that they've done studies on it, and it actually has cones and rods like the eye, the actual eye, which I thought was just so rad. And when you spend time in the sun, you really enliven that gland, that chakra. Chakra means wheel, and it's just a center, an energy center that is vibrating inside of your body. And there are ways to cause these centers to clear and vibrate at the optimal speed. And when your chakras are vibrating at the optimal speed, you feel good, right? Yeah. Which is, I'm really coming to believe that that's the aim of life, is to feel good. And we feel good. We feel good in so many different ways. We feel good when we help another person, or when we make another person laugh or smile. You know, when we're assisting humanity. We feel good when we're nurturing ourselves, you know, when we do something nice for ourselves, or when we raise our frequency, that helps us to feel good. And to rise above the main sort of frequency on the planet, which, okay, I want to clarify. Gaia has her own frequency, its own frequency. Gaia is a being separate from us, and Gaia has its own frequency. And then there's us, and you can't separate us from Gaia, because it's where our bodies live, and where our bodies are born, and where they go when they die. And we have our own frequency, and then there's another frequency that's outside of ourselves that it's really easy to sort of live in that frequency, because it's easier than doing the work to raise our own frequency. And once you do the work, or do the thing that raises your frequency, you know, you can rise up out of the I don't know what to call it, the common frequency, the one that's artificial, I guess, the artificial overlay frequency that's been placed here. And that's another story for another day. So my life intention is to raise my frequency and to feel good and to assist others. And the way that I've found is through meditation, daily 20-minute meditation. And it really just accrues, it gathers speed as you go. You know, it's like you just, when you first start, it's almost grueling. It's like, it's hard. It's hard to get your body to be still. But the more that you practice, the more you learn ways to still your body, which can be stretching. You can stretch, you can be physically active and get your heart rate up and sort of get some of the yayas out. There's just different ways and different methods of becoming still. And you need to strengthen your spine too, to keep it straight while you're sitting. You can sit on the edge of a chair, on a couch, on the edge of a couch. You can sit down on the floor on a pad, keeping your like on a little pillow to keep your hips above your legs. And it will take time to strengthen the muscles around your spine unless you're already doing that kind of work, which would be yoga or weightlifting or doing ab work. So it takes a bit of time if you're just starting to still your physical form. But it's so worth it after you still your body and then you get to work on stilling your mind. I mean, it sort of happens simultaneously where your mind is like just going like, why can't I be still? Why does my back hurt? Why, grumbly. And the more that you practice, the easier it will become. And then you hit the sweet spot, which is stillness, mentally and physically and emotionally and everything. You become still and you enter the presence. You enter the field. You enter the present moment. And once you enter that place, you're going to want to do everything in your power to get back. And the trick is to be okay with whatever happens in your practice, in your daily meditation practice. It's okay if you don't get back to that spot. In fact, the more that you try to get there, the more it's going to evade you. It's like it's sitting down and meditating is sort of like the microcosm of life. You learn so many wonderful things that you carry with you into your daily life, which is to let go of attachment to the outcome of any certain thing that you're going into. Like, just let it go. Just be okay with what is. Neutrality. And as a human who's been dwelling in the external, sort of like the external reality of something that's been placed over you, overlaid over you, it's just learning. It's just learning a new way. And I find that it's the way to be free. Because when you're still and when you're calm and when your mind is at ease, you are free. You're free to think the thoughts that you want to think. You become strong. You become sovereign. You are no longer in the victim mode, the victim to thoughts that you are like, where the heck did that come from? They come from left field. And it is my joy to share about it, to talk about this thing that I started practicing 553 days ago that has altered the chemistry of my brain. That's what happens. You alter the chemistry of your brain, and it all just happens simultaneously. Everything sort of becomes an upward spiral instead of a downward spiral. This upward spiral where you take charge of your thoughts, where you take charge of your life. And it's not going to be perfection and smooth sailing, and there's going to be times when it's hard. Of course, it's life, but we can also change the program. Life doesn't have to be difficult. Life can be peaceful and calm, and you can have clarity, and you can ask for assistance to ease the journey, to give you joy. You can always ask for assistance at any moment. You're surrounded. They've got you surrounded. Benevolent, non-physical beings. They're there to assist, and they're just waiting for you to ask. I appreciate you. I appreciate your presence. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you encouragement that you can do this. You can take charge of your life and your emotions. You can create the life that you always wanted. You can feel good. You can feel calm. You can. It's within your power, and you are more powerful than you could ever even imagine. You are the captain of your ship. You're the driver of your bus. You can do it. Separate yourself from the collective consciousness of fear and find the peace that dwells within. It's there.